welcome to another week of Libertarians at Large. My name is Eric Rautzep, and this is where we discuss the week in news and express a libertarian point of view on the goings-on in our nation and abroad. We welcome your comments, your questions in the chat box, so feel free to comment regularly. We may share your comment live on the air. This week, I'm joined by my fellow at-large members on the LNC, Laura Ebke and Valerie Starwalk. And as our special guest this week, we also have John Phillips, the Region 6 representative to the LNC, to join us as well. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Well.
I'm glad to hear that. So, John, you just wrapped up a race. How did that go?
Not as well as we would have liked.
It was a close one.
It was a close one. We had one of the rare city council primaries. Illinois, if you have more than 4 people running for a seat, it forces a primary even in a nonpartisan race. And so we had somebody file write-in at the last minute, which forced us into a primary. And place blame wherever you want to place blame, but I didn't quite make it. I missed making the top 6, which would have put me in the general by less than 1%.
Oh,
That's a nail biter.
Yeah, it was tough. I have to admit that some of that was my own fault. I ran for this office 2 years ago, and just missed the top 3. And so I was a little overconfident in my name recognition. And the last 2 weeks with all the weather, rather than campaigning, I did things like volunteer at a homeless shelter, and things like that probably cost me a little bit it happens. It's a lesson learned that I will be happy to pass on to anybody else that wants to run for one of these offices.
But it's a noble cause, so I mean, I'm torn.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that was the thing. I mean, with all the cold weather, and I actually got in an argument with somebody over it because I was volunteering at a homeless shelter, and somebody looked at me and says, "Well, are they voters?"
oh, come on.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, I lost my temper. I said, that's not why I do this. And that's not why I've done any of the, because I've been, I'm well known for being very active in my community. And I said, that's not why I do any of these things. The being active in my community is what led me to run for office, not the other way around.
Right.
And so I was livid when that conversation came up.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm active in my community as well. And if anyone ever suggested that I was active in my community because I was politically active, I would be so offended. I wouldn't even know how to react. And that's painful.
Yeah, I was quite angry. I mean, I have a long history of being active in the community. I've been coaching football and track and all kinds of things for almost a decade now. And working with different chambers of commerce, working with different charitable organizations, and I was quite irritated when that conversation came up, but we got past it, and we did. We kept several homeless people from freezing to death, and kept them fed. And as I said on Pat Ford's show, is that one thing or another, I live in one of the most giving communities in the country, and the amount of outpouring of support we had when we started this warming shelter because of the cold temperatures. And the number of people that just came down and donated all kinds of items and money enabled us to actually do it far longer than we thought we were going to be able to. So it was very nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's been black flag across so much of our nation right now. And especially the fact that you're that far north, I couldn't even imagine some of the trials and tribulations that the less fortunate are going through. And
then, at being libertarians, we can talk about the fact that government so often keeps you from doing that. Mm-hmm. And I have horror stories from just this year, not from our local government, but from other people who tried to do the same thing in their cities in Illinois, that got shut down by their cities.
Yeah.
Our city did not. I would like to say that was out of the goodness of their heart, and some of them it was. Some of them it was because they knew the negative backlash they would face. But some of them, we had 2 council members and two other people who were running for city councils come down and donate to the shelter. So
that's awesome.
So we had a little city support, which helped.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I mean, hey, I know all about government getting involved in the wrong way because I'm from Durham, which is one city north of Raleigh, and we're famous for arresting the guy handing out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Right. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how much government can just get in the way of just common decency and humanity. It's sad.
It's unfortunate, John. You guys talked about the person who asked, if they're voters. Unfortunately, that's kind of the mentality that takes over in a lot of our. Once you get into sort of the political elite, that becomes their assumption. I mean, it's all about winning. It's all about whether or not you can get paid off in some way by doing something.
Or is this a photo op? Right.
Yeah. So it's kudos to you for taking the time and the effort to go out and actually make a difference in people's lives and ignore the bad apples out there who are so jaded to think that to think that it's all just about who's going to vote.
Right.
Yeah, I remember seeing that about the bleach on the donated food. That I was throwing stuff at my house when I read that news article. So
it's and we all teach compassion. We want compassion. We want to help all of these individuals. And when an individual stands up to do that, why do others get in the way? I don't. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't make sense. And and then you always get the people that question your motives like that. And I just at some point, I don't care. If you're doing the right thing and you're doing it so that you get a pat on the back, well, here, let me give you a pat on the back because you're still doing the right thing. I don't care what your motives are as long as you're doing it. So
yeah, exactly. And there are bad people out there. I'm not saying that there aren't, but 99.99% are doing it for the right reasons or for selfish motivation, which is unfortunately a part of it. But only that 0.0001 are looking to do harm, and that's really, yeah.
Or what about we were in Phoenix for some time. People doing charitable work anonymously. They were leaving gallons of water near the border, and the border agents were dumping it out or puncturing it so that it would leak out slowly, so that when somebody got there would be a slight amount of water in there and just not enough. And that wasn't.
Well,
we don't doing it, but
we were actually talking something about that before you got on tonight because Howard Buffett is from my town, and he spends 6 months of the year down there in Arizona doing exactly that.
Like, what's the point?
And not his biggest fan.
No, well, me either now.
No, that's one of the bad apples. That 0.001% that I was just discussing. That's exactly what it is.
He's a bad, but he also is very generous. I mean, I like to give him credit as well. I mean, just as I do anybody, just because they do some bad things, when they do the right things, I still like to recognize it because otherwise, you're just like everybody else. All the Democrats and Republicans who will worship the ground that their guy walks on, no matter what they do. Yeah. When somebody that I disagree with 99% of the time does something right, I still recognize when they do something right. And he does. He donates a lot of money to our local community in a lot of different ways, and he is very generous. Also, kind of a butthead, but.
Well, there's that old adage that even a broken clock is right twice a day. So.
Right. Yes, I use that all the time.
Oh.
Well.
Oh, sorry, Lori. Go on.
Well, I'm just thinking we've got all sorts of. We got somebody posted about Sid Dowd and from City Council of Kalispell, Montana, and Sean Johnson from Casper, Wyoming. Both took political hits for doing controversial civic service. I don't know what that was, but good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them. And that's and it's sad that's the case. And I know I took some hits in my race because of old stuff. Just like several months back, we had a group protesting the local Planned Parenthood, and now the local Planned Parenthood does not perform the controversial services of abortion. Our local one does not. There are other services that they offer here, and but people were still protesting them, and so their local group organized some counter protesters. And the local Planned Parenthood is about 4 doors down from me, from my business. And so I contacted the counter protesters and said, I've got hot coffee. You can use my restroom. You could stay when the city cops are out there hassling you. You can come stand on my property. I took a few hits for that and I'm like, well, first of all, our local Planned Parenthood doesn't offer that service. And second of all, that's not a city council ruling. So what effect at all should that have on the race?
Yeah.
Well, not only that.
I was going to say, that's the crazy thing about that issue and any number of other issues that, we take hits for. I mean, people will criticize you because you are a libertarian or whatever, and you're running for the city council or the school board or the state legislature, and your party is open borders. It's like, well, so what? I mean, that was the thing that the famous picture from when I was running of me erasing the border with Mexico. It's like, I'm in the middle of the country. How am I going to do that? So. I think that we need to make sure that people understand that, think locally and think about the issues that the position that they're running for can actually have something to do with.
Yeah.
Well,
yes. People asked Nick when he was running for mayor of Phoenix repeatedly how he felt about universal health care. And he's like, I'm pretty sure the mayor of Phoenix doesn't have a say on it.
Doesn't have a say.
Right. Yeah.
But I have to also applaud you, because even if you didn't agree with them, or you do agree with them, and I'm not asking your political opinion on that, you still stood up for their rights to protest.
Mhm.
You still stood up for their needs. And that's dedication to freedom of speech and peaceful assembly that makes this country great. And that is my belief 100%.
Well, and and it was one of those things where, one of the reasons I was running for city council is because our city council is very biased. And you could tell that in the fact that the original protesters who were doing exactly the same thing and standing in streets and they did not get bothered by the police at all.
Mhm.
But when they vandalized the counter protesters' cars, the police hassled the counter protesters and took, you've got a complaint. We're going to take 2 hours to show up in the middle of the day. It wasn't like it was 2 a.m.
Right.
Where they were dealing with a bunch of domestic disturbance calls. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. So there was some abuse of power there as well. And anyway, yeah. So,
And that's just unfair.
Okay, so Patrick Garibay, maybe, asked a question. Let's get a little nerdy here, for libertarian nerdy. How come Mississippi and Idaho don't have a region?
Oh, well,
so
that's
you're a
easy.
region rep. You can talk about it.
That's easy because they elected to not have one. Any state can elect to not have one, in which case we typically allow the vice chair to represent them, though they can refuse that service as well. All regions are formed by agreement of the states. And so, for example, every convention cycle, we have to renew that agreement. So this last convention, before the convention, we all got together with our different states, and there was actually some states that were talking about switching regions. I know that some people talked to Wisconsin about switching to Region 3. I was quite happy that Wisconsin decided not to do that. But I know that they did, and that's well within their rights. And so Idaho and Mississippi have decided that they're better off not being represented currently. I think that many states many regions would be happy to allow them, and they don't even have to be contiguous. If they have a region that they agree with more than another, then they're welcome. I mean, for instance, Idaho could join Region 6 without any objection.
And for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about with regions, with the Libertarian Party, if you're new to the party or you're considering joining, I wanted to make sure that I put up the region map so you know how we break apart the nation and represent everybody fairly. So I just have that on the screen there as well.
The vice chair also represents Guam and Puerto Rico.
Oh, there, yes, all the territories actually, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Those are who we have right now. Hopefully, we get some. Wouldn't it be nice to have St. Thomas or something for
American Samoa?
Well, I believe it's Katie Neptune, who is now currently assistant DA in Guam.
Guam, yes.
So, maybe we can start building some real chapters in places like these. So
we have an affiliate starting in Guam.
Excellent.
Yes. All my work. I'm just kidding.
Kudos to that affiliate, support share,
Yeah.
I did it all yourself, right?
You are the affiliate support chair. Can we talk about your contest for a minute? Have you talked about that a lot yet?
Talk about my contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. My contest, the affiliate support committee is working very, very hard on this affiliate in a box contest. And basically what it is any existing affiliates can submit to us a list of as many things as they want, retail value of $250. And we did say tax/theft is not included, but if there's something that's very heavy that would have a large shipping cost, that would have to be included. $250 retail value of items that you find essential for your affiliate. And it can be handbooks, clipboards, clicky pens, your favorite pop-up canopy, whatever you think is the most important thing that an affiliate needs when they are starting off on the ground. And the winning submission would get $1,000 cash prize. Nice. And this is not extremely well known yet. Once that contest is over, we are going to scholarship 50 boxes to brand new affiliates that are starting in 2021.
That's
awesome.
Beautiful. Love that.
So I hope that people will enter the contest, and if they don't want to enter, they could share the contest and also donate to the affiliate support fund so that we can fund these boxes to.
Okay, so what's the URL for the affiliate support fund?
I will put it in the chat so Eric can put it on the Chiron.
Okay.
There we go.
Because it's not like affiliatesupportfund.com or whatever.
Right.
Thank you, John, for mentioning that.
Of course. It's a great program that I support, even though I did have to step away from that committee. That was one of the things that I was in favor of from the get-go. So
that was yes, that was what you said the very first. I mean, you said, if we could just do this, I'd be happy. Thank you and Godspeed.
Yes, pretty much.
We're doing good. We're doing well. We're getting lots of email questions about, is this okay? Can I do this? Can I do a digital download for this? Yes, everybody's really very detailed as Libertarian.
That's okay.
No, it's great. I love it.
John looks like he's frozen.
Yeah, he looks like he might have dropped out. Hold on.
Yeah,
So
there
we'll
he'll come back, I'm sure. So what else is going on? Is it warmed up every place?
Yeah, we were 68 degrees today and 72 yesterday. I was very excited.
That's very nice. It isn't that warm here, but it's warmed up. We've seen some melting, and it's been getting up close to 40 most days. So
same. After
it stopped doing that 27 below stuff that we were at last week.
Oh yeah, it is. It was a cold week. It's been a cold winter.
It was, that was the one week here in Nebraska. Anyhow, that was the 1 week. It was, a week, but it was awful. The rest of the winter really hasn't been that terrible. I mean, we've had quite a bit of snow, but it hasn't been a, really, really cold snow. So,
we've had
and Jared just got his mail. I don't know what that means, but
well, there's actually large portions of the entire nation that have gone without postal service for weeks because their mailboxes have been blocked with snow piles or the old adage just isn't true like it used to be. I always make my husband go out and blow the snow in front of the mailbox.
So the postal service has continued to deliver, and we haven't had anything that's been really delayed. Hey, John, you're back.
I am. Somehow my internet crashed out, so I'm now on my phone. But
welcome back.
Definitely glad to have you back.
So what did I miss? What are we talking about?
The weather.
Yeah, we were talking about. In reality, we were also talking about how mail delivery has been postponed in a lot of different portions of the country, and I was just about to bring up the fact that the post office has now earmarked $184 million to buy new postal vans. Which I actually talked with my local letter carrier today, and she is absolutely against it because the vehicle that she's been shown is remarkably wide, and if you're on a narrow street with cars parked on both sides, that mail truck will not get through.
Right. And I'm sure that it was earmarked by some political backroom deal, as we're well aware. But
of course. Oh yeah, absolutely. There are palms getting greased, and actually, the builder of the new postal vans is a weapons manufacturer, and
no, you don't say.
I know. So this is actually more of the military-industrial complex coming to rear its ugly head in yet a new fashion. So.
Well, they got away with appointing, a Raytheon person as the Secretary of Defense. I mean, you let them get away with that kind of stuff. They just feel like they've got carte
blanche.
Yeah.
They've got an open checkbook now, and so yes, even technically, the post office is getting militarized.
So we're having a battle in the comments section about which region is the best. I obviously agree with John, that the 6 is the best.
All right. So here's what I'm going to tell you, is that all the regions have many great things going for them. And I like all of them. But what I can tell you from knowing all the other regional reps is that Region 6 has the least amount of drama.
For sure.
I don't know. Region 5 is pretty drama free too.
We're kind of Midwest mild, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a little bit in every region, but
of course,
it's
we're libertarians. I mean,
we are libertarians.
We have to prove who's the most libertarian. I mean, this is a requirement.
My region has New York and New Jersey in it, and not that the libertarians there are drama. But as a state,
as a state generally, yes.
Yeah.
So, as I've mentioned on the show before, my libertarian existence started in Suffolk County, New York, and I had someone reach out to me from Suffolk, and they wanted to let me know that they now have a store. And that I should order a T-shirt. So I just got notice of my tracking information that my Suffolk County Libertarian Party shirt is now on its way. So I'm showing some origination pride in the Libertarian Party here.
There you go.
I think just about all of the regions have been represented now. And as I'm scrolling through the comments, it looks like just about everybody is chimed in.
Having spent a lot of time, visiting a lot of different regions, both before and after after I started my career in libertarianism. Like I said, they've all got great things going for them. Obviously, I have a soft, for obvious reasons, I have a soft spot for Region 7. And I will be going. And I will be going to the Oklahoma convention later in March. But I'm hoping to go to the Michigan convention as well this year, just because they're right around the corner, and I've got family from Michigan. I love to go out to the West Coast. I lived in Arizona for years. So I mean, they're all fantastic. I mean, we've got great people all over the country.
John, remind me, when is the Oklahoma state convention?
It's the last weekend in March. The dates escape me, but it is the last weekend in March because
or something like that.
Yeah, so it'd be the 27th and 28th.
Yeah, because there was some debate on whether I was going to go, because if I didn't make the or if I made the general, I was obviously not going to be able to go because the general election was going to be April 6th, and so I was going to be heavily campaigning that weekend. But
so I noticed that the Frontier Summit, which is happening out in Cheyenne, Wyoming on March 12th through 13th, still has some tickets available. So
yeah, that'd be a great thing for people to go to. If I didn't have so many things already on my agenda, that would be that'd be a trip I'd be looking to take.
Yeah.
So you're going to be in Region 7 that weekend in Oklahoma, and I'm going to be in Region 3 that weekend because that's also the same weekend as Indiana.
Right, and I went to Indiana last year, and then in April I'm going to Wisconsin because I have to apologize to the Wisconsin people. I have missed a couple of their conventions because one year they scheduled it the same year as Illinois, and I live in Illinois, so I had to go to Illinois. And one year they scheduled it the same weekend as Missouri, who had scheduled theirs first, and so I had committed to speak at their convention. So this year I'm going to Wisconsin. No ands, ifs, or buts.
Absolutely.
And I think the Indiana one, Eric, you have to wait and see if Jared chimes in, but there's something going on with Indiana, and I think maybe they're going virtual.
Oh, okay. I had not heard that.
Something. I feel like he said something about that. For Kentucky, I don't know what that is. Come on, Jared, get it right. We want to know about Indiana.
Yeah. Well, then maybe I'll be joining you in Oklahoma that weekend because I've already committed to traveling that weekend. So
there you go. I know that they've got an exciting chair race going on this year, and a couple people that are newer to the party looking to become officers in the state party. So that would I was happy to see new blood trying to step in and do some work. So
that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Yeah, I know. I was when we were doing all the candidate calls after the November election. I had the luck of getting assigned Donald Rainwater, and we had a long, lengthy conversation, and that's also when I was invited to the Indiana convention, and so I've been looking forward to it ever since. I hope that it is still going on, but Jared is saying that it's a mess and that I should message him for information. So I don't know.
And I really did enjoy doing those candidate calls. It's fun to touch base with a candidate, win or lose, and talk to them about the lessons they learned, and talk and get a feel for where they're at, looking at the future. And it's good to encourage them to not, because I mean, as libertarians, we're used to getting beaten up a lot. So it's good to encourage them to not give up just because we had a rough go one time.
John, help me out. Joshua, what was his name that passed away right after?
Joshua Flynn.
Yeah, Joshua Flynn. I talked to him, made a candidate call to him, and then like the following week, it's like, wow, that was just incredibly sad.
Yeah, and he did a great bang-up job for us. I mean, he got the Cook County party to be, if you're not familiar with ballot access in Illinois, it's all kinds of screwy. But he got the Cook County, at least to meet the requirements to be an established county. And of course, the state's going to fight that with us and all that kind of thing. Matter of fact, we just had an issue in Champaign where they told a candidate that, oh no, the race you're running for is partisan, and you and the Libertarian Party did not qualify for established party, and we did actually, but Illinois has conflicting laws and all kinds of fun little crooked things. But Josh Flynn was an outstanding candidate, and and honestly, just a nice guy. He and I had many phone conversations during his campaign. So
absolutely. Okay, it's about that time.
Yeah. So, John, are you familiar with the New York Times news quiz?
I am not.
So every single week, we spend part of our show going over the New York Times news quiz, where they ask 11 questions about news that has been going on in the prior week. Now I know, right? So we broadcast on Thursday. The new quiz comes out on Friday, so it's actually a week behind. So hopefully we can hit it out of the ballpark with support from all of us and from our wonderful listeners. We usually get 10 or 11, and we do really well. So hopefully we can keep that trend going on.
Why did I log back in again?
Oh. So this is the news quiz. Question 1 out of 11. This map relates to major news stories of the past week. What happened in the outlined area? Counties vaccinated at least 50% of their population. Residents received a $1,400 stimulus check. Schools returned students to the classroom, or the temperature fell below zero.
Temperature fell below zero. We were just talking about that earlier in the show. I can get that one.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Actually, a lot of the things we talk about, because we are talking about the news and the ongoings, we actually do kind of hit a lot of these.
And John and I lived this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was brutally cold.
It was terrible.
So we continue on with the temperature conversation.
Okay.
The record low temperatures in Texas also threatened several animal species this week. People on beaches or in the boats rescued 3,500 of which animal?
Turtles.
Dolphins, frigates, sea turtles, or tropical birds?
Sea turtles. Sea turtles.
Yeah.
Who all mysteriously were straw-free in their noses.
Yeah.
Are
Yes.
they wearing masks?
Were they wearing masks? And again, this is people acting on their own volition and making the world a better place. And this is what we as libertarians are always talking about.
Right. Yeah, speaking of which, we know that, I mean, maybe this is going to be a question, but funny that one of the main proponents of socialism actually raised $5 million in voluntary charity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. We've talked about her several times on this show, the AOC.
I'm not a huge fan of hers, but I do enjoy how she is pushing back on Biden. And she's not pushing back on him about socialist things. She's pushing back on him about promises made and promises kept, and the kids in the cages. And yeah,
right.
I am enjoying this feisty fight.
Yeah. I agree, because especially a lot of these things she's pushing back on are things that we have championed. So I can love it for two reasons.
Well, and yeah, actually today they announced that the facilities holding children at the border, they're actually going to be expanding them.
Right.
So, I mean, what?
Hey, but they're getting out of cages and into trailers. There's a difference now.
Or are the cages just getting bigger? I mean,
right, yeah. That was my sarcastic spot.
Exactly. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I can't even. It infuriates me so much.
This is one of the great things about being a libertarian, though, isn't it? I mean, when you stop and look at it, you can appreciate agreements that you can have with the old parties occasionally. You can also criticize the differences that you have with both parties most of the time, and you can laugh like crazy when they start beating each other or themselves up. You know, when Republicans are criticizing Republicans or Democrats are criticizing Democrats, I mean, you know, we don't have to feel injured when that happens, you know, and don't have to feel like we have to, you know, we have to, I've been telling a lot of my friends here in Nebraska, you know, that, you know, I've kind of enjoyed watching the Republican Party in Nebraska threaten to censure Ben Sass, you know, or whatever. I mean, it's just been funny.
Or
Sorry about that.
okay, there we go. Okay, I prematurely added you in, and the microphone had some feedback. So
Right. Yeah, I was trying to switch back to my computer. Sorry about that.
I'm just glad that you got everything resolved over there. But no, I mean, like you were saying, Laura, that's one of the best things about being a libertarian is that we can have consistency of message, and what we are talking about is truly the most humanitarian and the most compassionate aspect of the political system, and we don't have to cover our tracks or double talk.
Right.
Right.
That's one of the best things about being a libertarian is that our message is pure and true. So
yeah, I do think we will have a little bit of an uptick coming from the Democratic Party to the Libertarian Party because of what's happening at the border. That was actually the reason I switched my voter registration, that Obama lied about closing Guantanamo Bay. And there are people that are one issue voters, and that was their big thing. And Biden is essentially lying. So I think we're going to see, it's not going to be a huge increase, but I
a
think
politician lie? No. Impossible.
I know.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
so what's our next question?
I don't know. We're waiting for Eric to.
Oh, I know. I'm being delinquent here.
Yeah, we were talking. So
So the U.S. administered about 17 vaccine shots per 100 residents. Britain has administered almost 25 per 100. Roughly how many has the European Union administered per 100 residents? 1, 5, 15, 25, 35.
I don't know, but I'm going to guess 35.
That would be my guess, but I don't know.
Well, okay, so we all know that I love my international news.
So he's going to tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, no, I will say that nations like Estonia, where I have a lot of family, Poland, the Czech Republic, they haven't even gotten the supplies of vaccines to even inoculate all of their doctors yet.
It's showing my age because I still think of them as part of the Soviet bloc rather than the European Union. So that's yeah. If I'd have thought that all the way through, that makes sense.
Both, John. I don't
But
think
there's a lot of European nations, because you have to remember that the United States and England are both paying, their governments are paying more than the vaccine is marketed for.
Mm-hmm.
So the vaccine companies are shipping all of their vaccine to where they can make the most money, which is the UK and the United States, and everyone else kind of gets put out in the lurch.
I cannot believe what you just said. Our government pay more than something's worth?
I know.
Inconceivable.
I know. This is I mean, we always pay exactly what a screwdriver is worth. So
And a teacup.
And a teacup, yes, absolutely.
So what's the right answer? What's the right answer?
Let's see. It's
I'm not 100% sure, but
Jared says 5.
It's either 5 or 15, and Jared believes that it's 5.
I agree with Jared.
Okay.
Jared's pretty smart, so
He is.
And it is 5.
Good job, Jared.
I knew that they were less than the United States. I didn't know that they were that much.
yeah. See, I was just solely focused on Germany and how efficient they are on everything. So
They're screaming at each other in the face. Get your vaccine. Okay.
Yeah, France, Austria, and Czech Republic are actually below 5.
wow.
Yep,
That's
that's amazing.
Okie dokie. Well, only 35% of 215,000 voters, readers answered that correctly. So, John, we're in good company.
All right.
Speculation is growing over who might run to replace North Carolina's retiring senator, a Republican who voted to convict Donald Trump over the Capitol riot. Who is this senator? I'm from North Carolina, so I will tell you it's Richard Burr.
I think it's Burr, but
it is.
I was going to say Susan Collins is up here, not in New Hampshire. Was she in Maine?
Yeah. It's Richard Burr. He's received a lot of heat from the more rural areas of, or even directly outside, like south of Raleigh and all of that stuff, which are very strong Trump sections of the country. It's amazing. As I'm driving around being a home inspector, I'm already starting to see Trump 2024 flags flying.
I said it last week.
I know. I hadn't seen it last week, but this week, they're out there.
They took down their Trump's 2020 Stop the Bullshit flag and replaced it promptly with the Trump 2024 flag.
Yeah, and I do have to say that my outspoken criticism of Trump was not very helpful in my campaign. I'm gonna leave that out there because I am well known for not being a fan.
But I mean, he's been threatening retirement for ages.
Good.
So we're gonna have an interesting.
So Eric Rodsep for Senate, is that what I heard?
No, actually, there are far more qualified candidates in North Carolina to pick up that torch.
It might be Laura Trump, huh? That was what
No. You already have to be a North Carolina resident for that, and she's making inroads in South Carolina to take over Lindsey Graham's spot.
Is he retiring?
Yeah, he's saying that he is.
Oh, okay.
And Laura Trump has already set up residency in South Carolina for it, so we shall see.
Well, as much as I despise Lindsey Graham, I'm not sure that's improvement.
Yeah. I would definitely say that that's a lateral move at best. So Myanmar's military began trying San Suu Kyi, the country's deposed leader, in secret this week. In 1990, the military also kept her from running the country. After an election she appeared to have won. What happened in the wake of that election?
Shotgun.
She had fled to Bhutan. She emigrated to the United States. She participated in a failed coup with dissatisfied generals. She won the Nobel Peace Prize, or she announced her retirement from politics.
All these people that are overthrown from the government generally win the Nobel Peace Prize at some point. That's my guess.
That's kind of what I was guessing, but I honestly don't remember. In 1990, I was focused on U.S. politics. I wasn't paying too much attention to international politics.
I was
a couple of lines we can take out right off the bat. She's never left Myanmar because she's been pretty much under house arrest or somehow detained.
I feel like there was a coup. Was it the coup?
Well, she was never allowed to take power. So it was a coup before power was actually transferred.
It was a failed coup.
Yeah.
So the third choice.
Well, no, because she didn't participate. She was actually the recipient of the coup.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, she wasn't part of the coup. She was actually the target of the coup. And she's obviously still involved in politics. So the only thing that's left is what you all had said, is that she had won the Nobel Peace Prize.
That's crazy.
And it's
well, I mean, After Obama won it, I have a lot less respect for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was in 1990. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a litany of reasons that she won this. None of them would I say actually qualify for this. But also, let's remember, Mikhail Gorbachev won this.
Mhm.
You know, Reagan won this.
Hitler
right
won
after
this.
Grenada. You know, I mean,
Hitler one time with Man of the Year, not
Yes.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Get my political awards confused.
Yes. Yeah. No, he was Time Man of the Year
Twice.
So yeah, twice. Yep, you're absolutely right.
That lady in somewhere in Africa that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, who then like did mass genocide, she won the Nobel Peace Prize. Remember?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Years
Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize, and while he was accepting the prize, that is his famous drone wedding bombing.
Yep.
While he was actually accepting the prize.
Ugh.
So that's one
That
of
really mean a lot.
yeah. There's the Nobel Peace Prize doesn't actually mean much. So.
Yeah, it doesn't mean peace anyway.
No. Oh, we've got a Rush Limbaugh question.
Probably says, "Who is this?"
Yeah. Nope, it's not. Rush Limbaugh, the scathing talk radio commentator who captivated conservative audiences for decades, died on Wednesday at 70. What was his first job in radio?
Jeez.
I don't care.
Yeah, neither do I.
He was
An assistant to who prepared President Franklin Delano Roosevelt for fireside chats. Okay, the man's old, not that old. A baseball announcer for the Kansas City Royals. I would believe that. An after-school disc jockey job at a local Missouri station, or an intern at Fox News.
Yes, he was an after-school disc jockey at a local Missouri station. I think it was in Cape Girardeau.
I agree.
Okay, if that's what you're saying, we're going to go with it.
That is very convincing.
Yes, I am sold, and you are right.
I think we're going to get 100% today. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry.
He did work for the Kansas.
Now we're going to get everything.
You jinxed us, Valerie.
He did work for the Kansas City Royals later, but not. And don't ask me how I know this, but I lived another life, many years ago, and he did work for the Royals, but not.
So, I was a conservative youth, and one of my friends in high school actually bought a 5-year subscription to his magazine and newsletter for me as a birthday gift. And I read his newsletter and magazine for years. And
I'm so happy that you got past that brainwashing.
Oh my God. Well, actually, there was a lot in there that even at the time, I'm like, I don't get this. I don't understand.
And that was back before he got as bad as he got in later years too.
I was going to say in the 90s, during the Clinton administration, especially, Limbaugh was a very different kind of
absolutely
commentator. It was actually some humor, and it wasn't quite so mean spirited. He
actually even had pieces on economics from Hayek, from Mises, from a lot of Austrian or Chicago economists, and those actually I was buying hook, line, and sinker because it just makes sense. But even back in the 90s, there were some social aspects.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, when we moved back to Nebraska. In 95, and I was driving back and forth, and it just so happened that I'd be driving back and forth from Lincoln to Crete, and I'd turn on the radio, and at some point he made a switch, and it became so mean spirited that I just had to turn it off. I just couldn't even listen to it anymore.
I remember that, and I always remember. Completely theoretical, made up in my own mind, but I always associated it with him being jealous of Howard Stern's success.
Could be.
It
that
was
is entirely plausible. But I think he went off a lot on the tangent after Bush got elected, and he really started to embrace the Christian coalition and a lot of
focused on the family.
the social
Well,
conservatism.
some of the sort of neoconservative stuff became a bigger deal for him, and he really just hated. I mean, he hated the Clintons.
Oh,
He,
with a
he
passion.
really hated the Clintons, and so when when Hillary was running for president in 2008, and then he didn't like Obama. I mean, it was a gradual, spiraling upward in terms of his acerbic. It was no longer wit; it was just meanness.
Yeah.
So actually, a few minutes ago, my dog Rex made a comment that Churchill, Stalin, and Roosevelt were worse than Hitler. I will agree on the Stalin aspect because I have personal family members who died under the Stalin purge. But
Churchill and Roosevelt are a stretch.
yeah, that's kind of what I was going with.
Yeah, yes, we did have our own concentration camps, but we didn't gas them.
No, and while I don't agree with a lot of Churchill or Roosevelt's political positions, they didn't end in genocide. So,
Right.
Maybe not the best politicians, but
Definitely not.
There's just genocide takes it to a whole new level.
Yes. So Stalin, Hitler. Stalin, in my mind, is a little worse.
Stalin killed a lot more people.
So did
Mao.
But okay, sorry, I saw that and seeing that there was a personal connection to Stalin, I needed to address it. The Justice Department recently charged 3 North Korean officers with hacking banks and businesses. Excuse me. The Justice Department recently charged 3 North Korean officers with hacking banks and businesses worldwide in an effort to steal or extort more than $1 billion. Which of these acts were they not involved in? Breaking into the U.S. president's Twitter account and tweeting "North Korea forever," hacking Sony Pictures Entertainment in retaliation for a movie that depicted a plot to assassinate Kim Jong-un, the country's leader, infiltrating a Bangladeshi bank via phishing emails to employees, paralyzing the British healthcare system's computer network, or stealing more than $111 million worth of cryptocurrency from companies in Slovenia, Indonesia, and the United States.
I feel like I would remember it if the U.S. president's Twitter account had tweeted "North Korea forever."
I would agree with you on that one. This one seems like a real softball.
Well, and I actually know that the Sony Pictures thing happened.
Yeah,
and a couple of the other ones. A couple of the other ones I recognize. So that's my guess is that U.S. Twitter.
Yeah, I think that would have been that. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Even though I think that would be really funny.
Oh, I thought it was just hysterical.
Oh yeah, no. I don't support the North Korean style of life. I don't support your political ideas or your goals or aspirations. But if you are watching and hack Biden's account and say North Korea forever, I will laugh.
It would have been funnier with Trump, but I would still take it.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, that ship has sailed. So Naomi Osaka beat Serena Williams in the semifinal at the Australian Open, denying Williams a shot to win a record-tying 24th Grand Slam singles title. Who holds the record? Bjorn Borg, Margaret Court, Roger Federer, Steffi Graf, Ralph Nadal, or Monica Seles?
I only even recognize 2 of those names. I know I recognize Bjorn Borg and Roger Federer. I don't. The rest of them.
Graph.
So I recognize a couple more, but that's also because I am friends with Barbara Howe, the former North Carolina chair, gubernatorial candidate, U.S. Senate candidate, for the Libertarian Party, and she is a tennis fan to no end. So I do recognize a couple of these other names just in casual conversations with her, but I don't know the answer.
Aaron
Aaron says it's Federer. Yeah. We have to listen to Aaron, right?
Whoops.
Yes, we have to listen to Aaron.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Federer.
Oh.
I don't even know who that other person is.
No, it's Margaret Court.
Well,
Never even heard of
no
her.
idea who that is.
An Australian player, Margaret Court, is a 24-time Grand Slam singles winner, a record that no player has yet matched. Federer and Nadal are tied for the most men's titles with 20.
Wow, she's the GOAT.
Yep.
Huh, never heard of her. That's sad.
Who is this former wrestler and possible future presidential candidate?
The Rock.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yep.
Johnson, correct. Yep.
Welcome.
Dwayne Johnson at age 20. This is a picture of him when he was at age 20, defensive lineman for the University of Miami. The new NBC sitcom Young Rock, which debuted Tuesday, if I could master the English language, it would be wonderful. Checks in with the actor at 3 stages of life: as a preteen, as an awkward teenager, and a budding college football player.
Okay. Yeah, so like young Sheldon, only with a guy who ended up being cool.
Yeah.
Next question. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, announced this week that they were expecting another baby. Which of the names below is not a young child of the royal family? Archie, Charlotte, George, Louis, or Victoria?
I'm going to guess Louis because that's more of a French name for royalty.
It's Victoria. I think that the newest baby from Kate and William is Louis.
Oh, interesting.
Do they have a
And
third?
actually, I will agree with you, Valerie, because the royal family believes Victoria, because of Queen Victoria, is a unlucky name for a royal.
Well, I kind of like to think that all names are unlucky names for royals. So,
There we go.
And then our last question. Oh, this one's going to be interesting. What is happening in this photo? New Amazon employees learn to dance the Macarena at a virtual orientation. The singer Enya holds a private virtual concert for members of her fan club. A martial arts expert teacher teaches a virtual self-defense class. English opera singers are helping recovering COVID-19 patients improve their breathing, or Sesame Street puppeteers rehearse before a new season.
all right. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that if it's a martial arts teacher, he's doing it wrong as a martial arts teacher. But other than that, I'm going to guess the breathing exercise.
I maybe. I think it's just crazy enough to be Sesame Street. But I don't know.
I was going to guess the martial arts thing, but that's not right. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I was kind of going between these two. And if John says that is no way in shape or form.
Well, what I said was that if he's doing it, he's bad. Because there are lots of bad people on the internet who think that who release videos.
And I entirely agree. As a home inspector, there are a lot of people who have very bad home improvement or repair videos that will actually do more damage to your home on YouTube. So I agree with you on that one. But hey, you know what? English opera singers just sound cool too. So
Okay.
I'll go with that one.
Yeah, that one guy's wearing a bow tie. That's pretty British. Is that a bow tie or is that his collar?
I think that's just his collar.
Yeah, well, that's definitely not an outfit for martial arts. All right.
Oh wow!
It is. Look at that. English National Opera and London Hospital offered customized vocal lessons to help people recover from COVID.
Wow.
Interesting.
All right, I have to admit that I did have a little cheat on that one, which I wasn't 100% sure I remembered correctly. But another outstanding libertarian, Emily Hurtley, is an opera singer, and I remember her telling me about that story.
Ah,
There you go.
I just wasn't 100% sure I remembered correctly, to be honest.
So we got 10 out of 11. We did better than 87% of those who took the quiz. 8% of quiz takers got the same score as us, and 5% did better than us. So it's actually the third week in a row that we got 10 out of 11. So, but the time is 9 o'clock now. We've had our hour. We've had our fun. Do we have any parting comments or announcements that we want to make before we call it a night?
Make sure that if you're not already, join the LP at lp.org.
Yes, absolutely. It has been scrolling for most of our show at the bottom. Make sure that you join lp.org/join and become part of the best party in the country.
absolutely. John,
Very
hey, thanks for joining us tonight.
Anytime.
Absolutely. It has definitely been a pleasure. Everyone have a great night, and we will see you right here next Thursday on Libertarians at Large. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.